Hi everybody, my name is Christopher Rocky, Director of Education and Training for PropertyRadar. And today we're going to take action through insight by handling buyer objections. I know that many of you have had issues where you're driving around people for weeks at a time looking for that perfect home. They feel like because they have an approval letter for $150,000 that they have every right to find that perfect house, 2 stories with a pool and a hot tub that's facing north with the red door and the white picket fence, or whatever the case may be. I want to address this in a very serious manner with you because now, using the PropertyRadar application, you have the ability to overcome buyer objections from the very first moment that they ever come up. Let me give you an example. Somebody comes to you and says, we really like the home, but they suddenly hesitate. Well, for the first time, because of the PropertyRadar application and the ability to use this on your tablet and on your iPhone, you can log in from the road and find out exactly what's going on in that specific neighborhood to overcome these objections. Let's start by going into the Explore feature. And if these homeowners are looking for properties in San Mateo, California, click the blue search tab, and we can see what's going on in San Mateo, California. So, for example, if people say, well, I want to know how stable the neighborhood is. Do people have equity? Are they in risk of foreclosure? You can click on the equity tab and you can see that no, actually many of these properties in green are owned outright, while several in blue have more than 20% equity, giving you the ability to overcome that objection immediately. Well, are there a lot of sales in the neighborhood? Are people kind of trying to get out? Well, these are the sales in the last 6 months. And you can scroll around a little bit so that you have a better definition of the entire neighborhood. Remember, you can zoom in and zoom out at your leisure. How about if a homeowner says, well, how many properties are currently listed in the area? They want to know if that's going to affect their value of their home, and I think that that's a reasonable question. Take a look at the Listings tab, and you can see approximately how much the properties that are currently listed for and how much they're listed for based on the color chart here. How about if somebody says, well, we really appreciate you driving us all around all this time, but we just don't know much about this neighborhood. How many foreclosures are nearby? Well, actually, there's hardly any. There's a couple of REOs down here, a mile or 2 away, and then there's a couple of auction properties over here near the freeway on Highway 101. But not too bad. I only see 1 or 2 properties in green in pre-foreclosure here, so not a whole lot of people letting their properties go into default. Well, how about, am I going to be living next door to a rental property, or are there many rentals in the area? That's another great question. And you can see, according to this heat map, our primary residents versus non-primary residents. Non-primary residents being in the red here. No, there's not a whole lot of non-owner occupied properties. You can see that this neighborhood is very stable. And looking at the turnover heat map, people tend to stay for a very long time, oftentimes up to 15 plus years. How about if somebody says, well, based on the age of the home, am I going to have a whole lot of repairs? Well, that's a good question. You're not going to have any more repairs than your neighbor. You can see the range of the year that these houses were built in. You can tell immediately, and don't forget, you can click on any one of these homes at any time and we'll give you all of the interactive property profiles. Let me give you an example. I'm just going to randomly click any property right here, and immediately comes up the interactive property profile. We have an estimated value of $735, a loan balance of $250 with $485,000 in estimated equity. This is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,300 square foot property. And if Edith and Ronald are ever wanting to sell, you're going to want to be the agent that gets in front of their face to list their property for them. When it comes to handling buyer objections, I highly recommend using the Explore mode. You'll be able to answer any question that is significant right off the bat rather than having to wait until Monday morning and tracking down your favorite title rep and finding out exactly what's going on with that neighborhood. Using our Explore feature, you can overcome buyer objections on the spot. And that is how you take action through insight by using the PropertyRadar application. Thank you very much for listening.